Welcome back, everybody, to the Children First Family Law Podcast. I am delighted and honored today to have with us Mindy Mitnick, who actually, just so you all know, just received the Distinguished Service Award, which is one of the biggest iconic awards you can receive in the family law and mental health space, through the Association for Family and Conciliation Courts at the big national conference. Whole room stood up and applauded, and she deserves that. And I just want to say thank you for spending a little bit of your time with me and my guest and my audience today. Tell us a little about yourself, Mindy, just about like what were those highlights of your career and why you do what you do that you think got you the recipient of being the recipient of that award.
So I've had sort of a strange career in that I've only ever had one job, and that was being the first psychologist for the family court in Minneapolis. And after that, I went into private practice doing the same things I did at family court. And then over the years, expanding from custody evaluation and mediation and therapy to doing services like parenting coordination and parenting co-parent coaching, child inclusive mediation, while keeping all of the other services that I provided. And so I've seen a lot of change in the field over these almost 50 years that I've been working. Some positive, some negative, in terms of how much stress there is being part of the family law system for parents and for children. And so those are all things we can talk about.
So 50 years and you're a licensed psychologist. So I've had a lot of esteemed people on, like I know we talked about as we were prepping for this, Dr. Michael Saini, who you just saw at the conference, and Dr. Kathleen McNamara, one of our Colorado locals who's making her way into the presidency, isn't she, next?
Yes, she is.
Is she now president? Did they just crown her?
Oh, I think she's president-elect, Krista.
Why do you think that parents do that? I mean, why do you think there is such a propensity? I mean, also in preparing, I'm so interested and so sad I missed this plenary, but they talked about, you said you just went to a session on revenge. I don't know if that's part of it, but what is it about, why are so many people not like that?
So we have to go to the Wayback Machine and go to people's families of origins. So for the parents, what family system did they grow up in? Did they grow up in divorce? How was their parents' divorce handled? I mean, we know statistically, if your parents got a divorce, you're more likely to divorce. That doesn't really tell the story. What kind of a divorce was it? What was your access like to your mom and to your dad and to your siblings and to your grandparents? And then what happened in this relationship that led to the divorce? Was it betrayal? Was it abandonment? Was it abuse? Was it hard to the children? And so all of those kinds of issues complicate recovery from divorce, complicate processing it, complicate being present for your children and focusing on them rather than your needs. I once actually had a client who, when I asked her a question about the child, said, "We're talking about my needs here." And I thought, I guess that says it all. For why this mom is not going to be a helper for me in the therapy with this child. I need to get her someone to work with her so that I can focus on working with the child.
Thought you were initially talking about when we get to this toxic level and we're talking about missing the prescriptions and things like that. In that example, we're talking about the stress on the kids, right? And then when you talked about when we're working with parents who are in chronic stress, we got to make sure that we help so their kids are like not having the brain development problems. Is it an assumption to say that parental stress is naturally if parents are in chronic stress, they might be tipping into toxic stress, but is it that the chronic stress for parents can create toxic stress in the kids?
Yes. If in these kinds of ways, using the child to send messages, using the child to spy on the other parent, saying negative things about the parent, even those sideways comments that hurt children's hearts, so focused on your own needs that you're not doing things like getting the child to their practices on time because you were having a hard day. And so I'm going to go back to the teeter-totter. And so the stress is what tips it down. But if we build in resilience, it tips it back to a closer to level. What's resilience? Having extended family, family friends, coaches, piano teachers, Sunday school teachers be a positive part of the child's life.
Mhm.
The parent reaching out to their support system to fill in when they're overwhelmed. Letting kids go to other kids' houses. Giving a kid a bike. I always say a bike is a resilience factor because if your
Mhm.
kid can get on their bike and go to a friend's house or go to Aunt Abigail's house, that's a resilience builder.
Mhm.
Getting kids involved in activities, super resilience builder because they're out with other kids. They're with people who are promoting a sense of accomplishment and competence. And, we high five and we have snacks. So I just want us to not think that it's automatically going to be like we're plummeting into toxic stress if we can enhance the resilience builders. So one of the things that I really believe in the deepest part of my being is that professionals involved with separating and divorcing parents need to expand the options that parents and children are considering. And so when we hear from parents what their goals are, there isn't just one way to get there. And so we can say to clients, I hear how important that is to you. Let's talk about all the different ways that you can get there. And I'll give a simple example. I was talking to a parent. I was a parent coach. And what he said to me was, as many parents do, I want 50-50.
Right.
And so we had a conversation about let's not talk in numbers. Let's talk in relationships.
Yes, I use this exact it's like a heart. Let's talk about the heart and the relationships with your kids.
And so the offer that was on the table was instead of a 7-7 split in 14 days, which is the way we think about parenting schedules, it was a 5-9. And he was trying to assess, do I go forward with litigation? What's going to be the impact? He knew that it wasn't going to create a better co-parenting relationship, but he was trying to figure it out. And this is what I said to him and have said to other parents. I've done a lot of therapy. And at no time has anyone ever come into my office and said, my life would have been so much different if I had just had 2 more overnights every 2 weeks with my dad. What's important to kids is whether you show up. Are you there for the practices? Are you there for the tournaments? Do you help them with the candy bar sale? Do you get them to their friend's birthday party? Do you help them buy the birthday present? Do you take the first day of school photos and put them up because you love seeing how your child is growing and changing? That's the way kids record their childhood. Adults focus on time and money, but that's not what makes a happy kid.